We are gathered here today with effort to dig a hole and see what our soil composition looks like. We will dig a hole, play with dirt, and then fill the hole with water. And then we'll watch it. Let's see how deep the topsoil gets. Couple inches. We've reached clay already. So, as I suspected, the top of the property is mostly eroded. Not a lot of topsoil. It goes down to the clay really quick. I'm gonna have fun digging this hole. You can really see this stratification between the clay and the topsoil. Our job as good gardeners and permaculturists is to build up that topsoil, and plants will have a better time in that topsoil than they will in the clay. One thing you'll notice if you get really close is that when you go through clay with a shovel, the walls of the hole tend to seal up because the clay is so dense. Especially if there's a little moisture in the hole or in the soil, that wall in the hole will seal up real quick. And when you're planting or doing any types of gardening, if you're going into clay, you got to chop up the sides of the hole. I try to do it from multiple angles and just make sure that there's none of that sealing going on. Do this, lets the water drain through the walls a lot easier. It doesn't produce the clay pot effect, where you're basically just filling a reservoir with water, and water has nowhere to go unless you break up those holes. Here it is. It's about a shovel deep and a shovel wide. And this is something I learned in my permaculture design course. You learn about your soil and the water retention is play with that freaking dirt. Basically you can make like a golf ball sized dirt clod. We're gonna add a little water to it to see how well it retains the water. Not a lot, but clay absorbs water really well. Sand will just let this water pour right out like it's not even there. And when I squeeze it, you'll be able to see how much water. Like you can see, it's not sopping wet, but it's wet. But when I squeeze it, it's a lot of excess moisture in there. This just kind of helps us figure out how well our soil will retain moisture. Clay is something that's going to retain a lot of moisture. Just going to fill the hole with water. I've chopped up the sides so it doesn't have that clay pot effect where it seals the sides. I only have about, what's that, 2-3 inches of topsoil. So that'll absorb some water, but it's not going to be a lot. Most of the soil, when we have a big rain, most of that rain is going to go down into the clay, and that's what we're really looking at to see what the drainage is like. Let's see how long this takes to drain. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. This hole was taking so long to drain, I took a nap. I think we should go see what's going on over there. Excuse me, Ifrit. Sorry to interrupt you. Would you look at that? It's been like 40 minutes, and this hole has hardly drained at all. This is what we call bad drainage. Not good drainage. Poor drainage. Very, very bad, no good drainage. It's been 40 minutes. I'm not going to wait forever, but I'll fill you in later on how long it takes this hole to drain. But I was thinking we should try another hole. This is at the top of the property. I'm going to go to the bottom of the property, dig a hole there, different soil. Let's see what the difference is. Follow me. Alright, so as you can see, this is the bottom of our piece of property. It's only about 200 feet away, not even 200 feet. But it goes down maybe an 8% grade, and so that's going to mean the sediment from uphill is going to move downhill as it rains. And although the chickens have been in this area and tilled up the topsoil a little bit, I think it's going to be better. I think it'll be faster draining. Let's see. Remember how I said it being downhill, whenever we have hard rains, all the sediment from uphill is going to go down here, collect up here. Oh, look, we got some glass. That's nice.
Oh.
But still haven't hit clay yet. All right, we've got a root in there. That won't be a problem though for our purposes. Still have some clay composition in this soil, so I am going to break up the sides of the wall just a little bit. All right, so here's our second hole with a lot more topsoil at the bottom of the property. I also wanted to mention that there's a creek, pretty much a dry run creek, maybe 50 feet away in the middle of these woods here. Give you an idea, you know, the creek is going to have a lot more biodiversity, better soils, stuff like that. I also wanted to do the dirt test, play with some dirt down here real quick. This looks way more crumbly, as you can tell. This is kind of sandy soil. We're on the verge in Virginia of the Piedmont and the coastal plains, and we have a mix of clay and sandy soils. So I'm going to try to pack this in like I did with the other one. Add a little soil, or add water. It's a lot harder to hold together when I add water, but if I can. It still holds together, but it's way more crumbly. Let's try to squeeze some. There's some that comes out, yeah. Now that I'm all nice and dirty, let's fill the hole with water like we did with the other one. And see how much difference it drains. I'm gonna guess it drains faster. You know, this is gonna drain a lot faster. And now that I see it, I think that it's actually draining as I'm pouring it in. Mm-hmm. I can hardly fill the hole fast enough. It doesn't even look like the water line is changing. This is like a 3-gallon bucket or waterer. It's taking all of that, and it could take some more. It's about to where it was, same height as the other hole. We'll time this one and see what the difference is. All right, so it's been about 25 minutes since we filled this downward slope hole with water, and it's fully drained. Max just filled it. You can tell you there's no more water in there. It might be hard to tell with the camera and all, but there's no more water left in there. It's just a muddy hole. It's fully drained. Let's go back up to the first hole and see what that one is still doing. So as you can see, it has been an hour and 18 minutes since we filled this hole with water. The hole downhill from this has drained, it could drain 3 times by the time, 4 times, 5 times by the time this drains all the way. Conclusion of this story is, this is why I'm putting a pond right here.